If you look back over time, 78, 91, 2008, every 13, 15 years, we have a crash. 2008 is now 2026. So if math is going to repeat, then it's time for prices to adjust. That's my best guess. But the other part is, it doesn't matter that house you bought in 1978 for $40,000 worth 2 to 4 million. If you wait long enough, everything gets better. So even if we crash tomorrow, 20%, 40%, who cares? It always dips and then it goes and surpasses the last high and continues on. Then it comes back down, adjusts, and goes back up. It's been doing that for the past 50 years I've been around.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Kesil, and today I'm joined by someone I'm looking forward to chatting with, Bob Irish, who's been a real estate broker for the past 25 years, as well as supports investors in finding projects. So excited to have you here today, Bob.
Thank you. Good morning, Michelle.
Yeah, thank you. So let's dive in. First off, for those who are not familiar with you and your work yet, can you share what your main focus is?
Sure. I have been a broker since I started, opened my own shop, and my own focus has always been on investors. When the short sale market came around, I figured out how to get those properties to the investors, sold a ton of properties to BlackRock and a lot of other REITs that are now millions and millions of properties. Spent lots of time doing that and wrote a couple books on how to, do real estate and such. Opened an office in Newport Beach and started doing fix and flips and rehabs for some investors that wanted big projects, they buy them for 3 or 4 and resell them for 8 or 10 kind of projects, tear downs and such. And now I'm working with a self-storage company that builds ground-up self-storage units, taking the investors' money to do the build, and then we sell off each individual unit to consumers and then pay the investors back a good IRR of about 20-22%.
Awesome. So which markets do you operate in?
So I'm in Southern California, so I've sold all over California. In fact, I just sold a house to a guy in Lake Tahoe, actually Truckee, which is on the north side of Lake Tahoe. So California for me, I'll drive. If I can drive there, I can sell it. The self-storage units we've been working on are right now, we have 2 projects in Georgia and 1 in Texas, and we're going to do 1 in California up near Sacramento. That'll be next on the book. So to be honest, nationwide.
Great. And so how are you working with investors specifically? In what ways are you supporting them?
Sure. So investors right now, this self-storage facility that we're building, we take the money, we build out the project, and of course we sell the project off. We condominiumize the project. So most self-storages are building, it's a one owner opportunity, right? But we take the investor money, build it, sell off each individual unit to regular people who want to store their boat, their RV, or have their small business where they need storage. So each unit is then sold off, paying off the debt. When we sell out the project, we're paying 8% back on the money, but we're also splitting the net profit 50-50 with the investors. So the IRR turns out to be around 20-22%, over a 2.5 year period. So supporting the investors by giving them a really good project. Fix and flips are harder to find in Newport Beach or even in Southern California to make good money on. This is more passive, true, but the IRR is much better and more secure.
Yeah, absolutely. So the investors are buying like each individual unit, so multiple investors can be on this project. Is that correct?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Actually, the investors come in the capital raise part of it. So we do the capital raise, the investors, we build out the project. When we sell it off, and we're doing that all in-house as well, when we sell it off, we pay off the senior debt, we do get a loan, and then we pay back the investors their money plus a split of the profit. So the investors come in the beginning with the capital raise. Yes, an investor can, of course, buy 1 unit or 10 units and then rent them out as well. So, the price per square foot to buy them is quite low compared to most other things. But the rent is stable. As you know, self-storage, every self-storage facility you see is 100% full and people are waiting in line. In fact, I have a small one around the corner that was paying $250 a month for 10 by 10. They just raised it to $350. And it's like, keeping my junk in my garage in a storage unit. It's self-storage is so many people waiting to get in that they can just keep on raising the rates, and you got to pay because you need that extra space.
Wow, I didn't know that industry was so profitable.
It's quite profitable, yeah, and very passive in that way too, where
Right.
there's no toilets to fix, right? There's no light bulbs to change. People come in, they put their stuff, they leave it, and that's it. You hardly ever see them again.
Yeah. Is there any sort of like operational needs in order to like invest in these?
No, we're really looking at, we have our, investor portfolio for that particular project. We actually do a single LLC for that particular project. That way, if it's one investor or 4 investors or 10 investors, they own the LLC that, buys the project, and they own the project. They are preferred equity. They are the only thing that's senior is, of course, if we get the loan from the bank to finish out, it's $4 to $5 million raise, $6-7 million loan, $15 million build out. But we built about 150,000 square feet. At $200 a foot, it's about 26 million on the sellout. So, there's a $8-10 million, profit. You got commissions and things like that to pay, of course. The net result is the investor just puts the money in. It's part of the project. They own it. They're the LLC, the primary. And then when we sell it out, everybody gets paid off and we split the profit. So nothing active really for the investor to do.
Awesome. And so, what do you feel are some main keys of your business that have allowed it to be able to grow and to run smoothly?
Well, like I said earlier when we were speaking before, is the ability to find deals is the hardest part of anybody's deal. I've been doing this for a long time. Whether it's a small little single family homes that, make sense. People buy things and they don't do the money. They don't do the math. They don't figure out what the return. They say, well, it'll get better. No, you have to make sure that it makes sense when you buy it, so that after you buy it, it gets better sense, right? But if you're losing money to begin with and you're okay with that, great. But do the math first. Don't sit there and think you're going to make money just because you bought an investment. So my point is, that's how I think all the time, right? If it doesn't make money, if it doesn't make sense financially today, it will never make sense. So my strength is to find that deal that totally makes sense. We know all of the particular problems that might come up and it still makes sense. Then you can go ahead with the deal. No emotional decisions, right? Just smart math, financial. And I'm good at finding the deals and negotiating that contract. So whether it's a fix and flip rehab in Newport Beach on the water, great. or whether it's self-storage units in Georgia, we've done all the homework. And that's probably the thing that most people don't do very well that I'm pretty good at.
Right. That makes sense. And so, what are you most focusing on solving or scaling to next?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah, I mean, we want to do 10 projects a year. We'll probably get 4 or 5 done this year. So, scaling is a matter of we have locations already picked out. Most of our stuff is ground up, and that way we can control everything. But we just found a really good deal in Kansas and Kentucky that are existing storage units that are rental units. So we're going to buy them, and there's extra room to build. We're going to build an extra, 50, 100 units, and then do the same thing when we sell the project off. So it raises the value of that project simply by adding in that extra piece.
Awesome. And when it comes to like your real estate business, how do you kind of see the market maybe shifting or moving in this new cycle?
Yeah, in a new cycle, right? It's been 2 years of terrible. So the answer, it's got to get better or it's got to crash.
Sure.
And I'm hoping it gets better. I do. But, I mean, my parents did this when I was a kid, and it was 1978, if I remember. If somebody correct me, right? Carter was president, of course. Gas prices were 30 cents. Then they were 70 cents, right? We were waiting in line and having to get gas every other day, right? Because you're way too young to remember that. But, I was like 13 years old. My parents said, sit in the car in line because it was 2 hours to get gas. I do remember specifically interest rates were 18%. And there was, it just was a difficult time. And value of the houses in California were $20, $30, $40,000. Now they're $2 million for the same house. So it always gets better, right? But are we going through something similar? It kind of seems like it, right? It seems like there's that. Interest rates aren't very high. I mean, everybody's complaining about 6%. Don't, because it used to be 18. Okay. It's just rates are still really, really good. But house prices have exceeded people's ability to afford, right? If you make $100,000, you can afford a $400,000 or $500,000 house. Well, the average house is $600,000 or $700,000 in California. Okay. Regular people can't afford houses anymore. That's the problem, right? It's the affordability. Can anybody buy a house? So either prices have to come down or incomes have to go up. Okay. And then if you look back over time, 78, 91, 2008, every 13, 15 years, we have a crash. 2008 is now 2026. So if math is going to repeat, it's time for prices to adjust. That's my best guess. But the other part is, it doesn't matter that house you bought in 1978 for $20,000, $40,000 worth $2 to $4 million. If you wait long enough, everything gets better. So even if we crash tomorrow, 20%, 40%, who cares? It always dips and then it goes and surpasses the last high and continues on. And then it comes back down, adjusts, and goes back up. It's been doing that for the past 50 years I've been around. So
Yeah, definitely. There's lots of shifts and things that we need to, yeah, wait or take action on. Either way.
but buying and holding, right? The real estate's always, buy and
Yeah.
wait, and it will get better. So real estate's the only real asset. Look at Bitcoin. It was, when my friends told me about it, I remember it was like under 20 grand. It was maybe 15, 20, somewhere around there. I said, I don't even know what the heck it is. Forget about it. And it went up and down, up and down, up and down over the past 5, 6, 7 years, got up to 120. Now it's back to 60. Very volatile, right? Gold used to be 1,000, 2,000. Now it's 5,000. Wow. Huge increase. Real estate, again, my parents' house cost 40,000. It's worth 2 million now. So real estate is one of the true, drivers of our economy, and one thing you can count on forever.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, what advice would you give to someone that's wanting to get started in real estate investing.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yeah. To get started in real estate investing is, like I said earlier, be smart about the money, right? It's got to make sense. It's got to cash flow, right? Whether you got $20,000 or $100,000 or $1 million, the answer is make the right decision to get into something that makes sense. If you have to pool your money with somebody else to get in to buy a house, great. Once you get in, this is something I told my kids is, don't ever sell your first house. It'll be the cheapest house you ever buy, right? So if you're 30, 40 years old, you buy a house for whatever the price is. You live to 70 or 80 years old, that house, the very first house you bought will always be the cheapest into the market that you'll ever be. So don't take that money and then spend it on the next house and upsize. No, keep that house, take money out of it, sure, and then buy the next house you want to live in forever. So how do you get into real estate? Get in any way you can. Buy a house, buy, anything that's an asset real estate wise, and hold on to it forever, because that will always be worth more money than you ever. Again, something like the self-storage units we're working on, that's great. If you have 100,000, 200,000, you can invest in this and you're going to get back 20, 22%. That's great. It's a 2-year turnaround, right? Do that, then take that money, invest in the next thing. What they always say in Vegas, you're playing with house money, right? You put $200 on the table and you win the money, take your $200 back off the table, play with the house money, and then to keep investing.
Yeah, definitely. I think the lowest barrier to entry is a
Mhm.
great way to look at it.
Yep. Absolutely.
And so, what other type of projects are you working on with investors or like for yourself?
Yeah, right now I've been focusing on fourplexes at the end of last year, just simply because so many people had bought them and held them. We got the baby boomer generation who bought these things and have held on to them for 20, 30 years. So there's a lot of turnover. Apartments are getting 2-3% return. That's terrible, right? Fourplexes do better. Plus you could even live in one. If you live in one, then of course you can still write off and use everyone else's, income to pay, or rent to pay off your note. That way it's easier for you to get. That's a great way to get in. Buy a triplex or a fourplex, because the other 3 or 4 or 2 or 3 people, whatever, will be paying that note down. That's a great way for you to go and live. Then once you finally get enough money on that one, get in. So I like fourplexes. I've been trying to help people buy them because I think it's a great way. And a lot of the baby boomers are saying, what do I do now? What do I do with my money? Do I keep the fourplex or do I sell it? And the answer is single family homes. Sure. But you're going to go live there. That's not investor mentality the same. And then of course the self-storage units we're working on, and any rehab, if you can find one. There's a lot of baby boomers that are getting old and they're going to sell. I sold one. He lived there, 15, 20 years, a veteran. He passed away. Family called me and said, hey, and I walked in and there was hardly any furniture, beautiful house, right? But he just lived there, no family, just him by himself, a solo guy. And all they wanted to do is just take the money and, take their check and move on. But the guy that came in was a family and it was nice. And my whole point is there are deals out there. Unfortunately, people pass away or get divorced or do whatever. There are opportunities out there where people inherit properties, or just don't know what to do with them. And yeah, they probably need some repair because people have been living there for 20, 30 years and they're cash poor. But that house is the one to find.
Yeah, definitely. That makes sense. And the fix and flips projects that you work on, what does that process look like?
Yeah, the finding is the hardest part, right? But that's what we just talked about. So find that property, right? We get it. In the old days, it was called AITD, or wraparound mortgage. It doesn't make a difference if they owe money or they don't owe money, or buy the house, find a way to do it. the fix and flip is get in for the lowest amount of money you can. You don't have to come in and buy a house for $500,000 or $600,000. You can take over payments. You can pay them the difference in what they owe, and go in and fix it. And that was the first few things I did probably 25 years ago. Was I knocked on doors of people with notice of defaults, and I said, "Look, your house is worth $100,000, whatever it is, and you're 5 or 10 grand behind." And I would go in and I would pay them the difference between what they owed and what it was worth the way it was. Go in, fix it up, and resell it and make a little bit of profit. So finding the deal, that's the absolute best way to go. Be creative. And again, you don't have to come in with a ton of money. You just enough to take over and turn it around, make a deal with the owner and say, when I sell it, we're going to split the profit. Find a way to make a deal for both people. That's the beginning, investor. Everybody else with more money and more whatever, you can do it differently.
Yeah, definitely. That's important advice. Thank you for sharing all of that. Yeah. So before we begin to wrap up here, if someone wants to reach out, connect, learn more about what you're up to, where can people find you and connect with you?
Sure. I'm easily Googleable. My name is Bob Irish. My website's bobirish.com. And if you want my phone number, it's 949-500-1740. Again, I'm in Newport, Orange County. Work all over the country, all over the state, of course, but always looking for opportunities. So just look up Bob Irish and you can see what I've done. I always tell people, you want to be findable for anybody. If you can Google your name and it pops up on Google, you're doing a good job being findable. So that's
Perfect. Appreciate your time and your story. Thank you for being here.
Of course, Michelle. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And for the listeners tuning in, if you got value, make sure you have subscribed. We've got more conversations with operators like Bob who are building real businesses, and we will see you on our next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.